tell him about the time we faced them.
All right. Well, as I remember.
At Avenger headquarters.
Because united, the Avengers are strong.
Welcome to the MCU D&T Plus podcast with myself, Andy Stead.
And I'm Jason Cutter.
And I'm Jarian Gibson.
Good to be back, fellas. Good to be back. It's been, it hasn't actually been that long, but it seems like it's been a lot longer than what it has been. We was getting them out every week, weren't we? And it's been a week and a couple of days since our last recording. So it's good to be back.
Yeah, it feels good. You know, like you said, it definitely feels longer. We had a lot going on. So it's good to be in front of here with you guys again.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You actually, I think you get a big appreciation of these podcasts. Any podcast, doesn't matter what it's about, but podcasts that are released so regularly, you know, and the people are on 300-400 episodes and they've been releasing, you know, every week for, you know, 1-2 years nonstop. You've just really got to, hold your hands up and just give them a round of applause and say, well done for their consistency, because it just goes to show, you know, life gets in the way, work gets in the way, and all of a sudden a couple of days and you're out of that recording routine. But we're back. And we have got we've got a news/rumors jam-packed episode for you guys today. So we'll come to Jarian in a minute, because this is Jarian's remit of news and rumors and things like that. But Jason, what's been going on the page for the last couple of weeks? There's been obviously a big milestone that we've hit.
Yeah, huge milestone. We finally cracked that 25,000. You know, I mean, in what I think just about 6 months we've reached this. So that was real big for us. I mean, I know all of us, you know, the Modmins, we're over the moon about it, and just all the members that have come out and just appreciating it and showing their support for it. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm as excited as I am about it. I'm honestly not surprised that, you know, we've cracked this number so fast. This group is amazing, and, you know, everybody wants to be a part of it, which is great, you know, and we're keeping it up. So that was, you know, the biggest thing. We put the video out. All of us made a little, you know, thank you to all you members for it, you know, so that was a little cool thing we did. So, and then after that, it's on to 50,000, right, guys?
Yeah, bring it on. We've got a few little things in the pipeline. We're still doing our quizzes. We've got our next quiz next Saturday, which is our phase 2 quiz, which we're doing. We're going to carry on with a podcast. We've got some little competitions that we're going to throw in there. I just last week mailed out the prize for the poster, the Black Widow poster.
Oh, for Rebecca.
Yes. To Rebecca. Yeah.
Congrats, Rebecca. Congrats.
Yeah.
Congratulations from Rebecca for winning our last talent contest with her Iron Man glow in the dark cross stitch. She's got her poster in the post. Mailing from here, from the UK over to the US. So so it's all looking good. We've got some cool.
Speaking of Rebecca, I think for this episode that you guys are watching right now, I don't know if I'll do it in the intro or outro, maybe both, but I'm going to actually be using Sebastian's track that he had entered into the contest. So an amazing track. I mean, I couldn't believe the quality of it. It's wicked cool. You guys will hear it, so you'll know exactly what we're talking about then. But yeah,
so you may have already heard that if you're listening to it, and Jason decided to put it as the intro. You've already heard it, so that's what that was. And if you haven't heard it yet, stick around for the outro, and you'll hear Sebastian's track that he put in for that as well, which was really cool. So wicked. Right. So with no further ado, should we get stuck into the news, Jarian?
Jump right in.
Yeah, so it seems like the news has been picking up steam. Lots of stuff, several, you know, upcoming shows and movies as well. So let's get started. The first one, so Deadpool. We know Deadpool isn't officially in the MCU yet, but in a promo for the upcoming Ryan Reynolds Free Guy movie, we saw Deadpool with Korg. So, you know, what's going on there? Deadpool and Korg, filming together, have a nice little teaser there. Are we going to get some kind of Easter egg in Thor Love and Thunder possibly, or is this just something for promotion?
Well, you see, I saw that and I consider that as confirmed and canon. with the multiverse opened up and the what ifs that they're doing and all this, a commercial like that, even if it's just for fun, that's legit now. Korg and Deadpool were on screen together, so to me, he's in. We're ripping and roaring.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I really enjoyed that bit where Deadpool turned around to him and goes, so what have you got to do to get into the MCU these days? Cole says, well, you got to have a dream. You got to start with a dream, and then when you've got to follow through with that dream. And it's great. We
got to get Robert Bush in here to do the voiceover.
Yes.
For Korg
Yeah,
for us.
we have. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. But so that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be great to see if we get some kind of nod or some kind of Easter egg in Thor: Love and Thunder. Just some kind of clip of him doing something silly, or just something very brief to kind of piggyback on that that promo that he did with Korg. So stay tuned on that one. Next one, show nominations. So Disney Plus shows, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. They got some nice nominations here.
Yes.
So WandaVision got 23. Nominations, including Outstanding Limited Series. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier got 5. And then from those shows, Elizabeth Olsen got Outstanding Lead Actress. Paul Bettany got Outstanding Lead Actor. And surprisingly, which, more power to him, Don Cheadle got Outstanding Guest in a Drama. So
he was surprised about it. He couldn't understand why, but I thought that was funny.
But he did only have about 6 words, didn't he?
Yeah. He was in the first episode, then he was out. But hey, I love Don Cheadle. I love the way he portrays War Machine. So in Rhodey. So hey, if he wins, he wins. I'll be happy for him.
All well
surprise.
deserved. Yeah,
yes.
All well deserved. Where's the MCU D&T Plus podcast, Emmy? I think we deserve that.
So some movie news. So some good and bad news for Black Widow. Black Widow dual release. The first weekend, 218 million opening weekend, 60 million on Disney Plus. So it seems like the dual release method worked in this case. They had to do something. I don't think they could delay it any longer. And it's nice to see that that Disney Plus helped with that opening weekend. But the downside is that they broke a record in a bad way, MCU wise. So the following weekend, it was the worst drop in MCU history for a second weekend, which is understandable.
That's the thing. When your worst is still better than everyone else's best, that's not a loss to me. That's still a W.
I also think that it was probably hugely circumstantial as well.
Exactly.
I don't know what restrictions are still in. I know obviously states are different in the US. I'm not sure what's going on in the rest of the world, but obviously over here in the UK, restrictions were almost lifted that following weekend, where it was like, well, you can go and do whatever you want now. So it was like, well, there was only a couple of things you could do, and now all of a sudden you can do everything.
Yep.
So yeah. I'm not sure if people are like, well, we can still go to the cinema, so let's go and do that. And then all of a sudden the following weekend it was, you can do whatever you want. So then people's attention got dispersed over lots of different things.
Yeah, exactly. And you got, like you said, the Black Widow was kind of like the guinea pig. It was the first real blockbuster that's come out since those restrictions were lifted. So
yeah, definitely. And it'll be interesting to see what effect that has on the Shang-Chi release.
Yep.
Yes.
To see what they do with that.
That and No Way Home, but we'll discuss No Way Home when I get to that news. Because, Black Widow and Shang-Chi are all Marvel proper, they're all Marvel Studios, whereas No Way Home is a dual studio. So we'll discuss that when I get to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think they did. I don't think they made their mind up on Shang-Chi, did they? Because when they announced the news that they were going to dual release Black Widow in the cinema and on Disney Plus Premier Access, they said that they hadn't actually made their mind up on what they were going to do with Shang-Chi yet.
Correct. But with Delta, with Delta variant,
that's a curveball they definitely weren't expecting. So I'm sure a lot of it's up in the air right now, and they're just kind of taking it day by day. So
stay tuned on that one. So Hawkeye. So it does appear that Hawkeye is going to be November-December timeframe as Andy correctly guessed. But there's a new casting, one new casting confirmed and some rumors. So let's talk about the new casting. Simon Callow is cast in Hawkeye. And I think Andy was the one who said in the group that is this long shot.
Yes. Great call too, by the way. I mean, not only just the appearance and the look, but
trick shot. Sorry, trick shot.
Yes, trick shot. Well, it kind of makes sense because you've got who's been cast as Swordsman. Someone's been cast as Swordsman, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name, but someone's been cast as Swordsman, and it was Swordsman that took Hawkeye under his wing, wasn't it? But then Trickshot also taught Hawkeye or Clint to do other stuff, didn't he? He was another one of his kind of mentors. Yes. So I can see it going kind of that way, to be totally honest. But who knows?
No, I think you're right on the money with that. I mean, especially the whole series seems to be going to be based on Clint, training and teaching Kate. So I can totally see them delving into how he was trained. It'll also show all his diversity as well, and how his many different weapons and styles he's actually capable of.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that show. I really am. I really like Hawkeye. I really like Jeremy Renner.
Love him.
And I think he's a really entertaining actor. And I know a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think he's quite boring, but I mean, each to their own.
No, exactly. I'm a huge fan of him, especially in the Hawkeye role. So.
Yeah.
Now, here's a huge rumor. It's not confirmed, but the actor actually liked the tweet about this rumor. So this is a huge one. So it's rumored to be bringing Kingpin into the MCU.
Not only just Kingpin.
Yes,
but Kingpin.
Yes, the Kingpin. So Vincent D'Onofrio is returning in the role of Kingpin. Now, we know that some actors will be coming over from the Netflix series. Same actors, same roles, most likely rebooted. The rumor also stated that Hawkeye should release around the same time as No Way Home, and due to links between the two. So again, back with your time frame. So it sounds like the back half of Hawkeye may have direct ties to Spider-Man No Way Home.
With it being so close, I can absolutely see that.
Yep.
It makes complete sense.
So it's supposed to start.
My guess was the 15th.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was what I guessed at, because No Way Home is it the 3rd or the 10th?
11th, I think. Something like that. But yeah, I remember you had to hit it right on the nail pretty much, Andy.
So 17th. Yeah. 17th. No Way Home is the 17th.
Yeah, so the rumor is that Hawkeye is supposedly starting in November, with the later back half of the shows aligning with the No Way Home release. Also, too, the rumor said that Charlie Cox was supposed to appear, but had scheduling conflicts. So we may have had Daredevil or just amazing. Or just Matt Murdock making an appearance in Hawkeye as well. So that's interesting news. So now we're starting to see those characters from Netflix shows trickle into the MCU, which is really good news.
I think they're doing it so well if they are going this route with the rebooting, but keeping the same actors, because they're making everybody happy pretty much. Everybody's getting a little bit of something they want. They got these amazing actors who work so dead on spot for the role. What I mean? And they're clearing the history so that they can start fresh with them as well. So
exactly.
I mean, it's a best of both worlds for everybody, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the next rumor here, I saw this briefly, and I'm still trying to chase more news on this down. But there is a rumor that Yelena will dress up as Ronin, according to a toy leak. Now, I haven't seen the toy leak pictures. I saw an article. I'm still trying to see more about it. I haven't seen anyone else report this yet, so I'm kind of skeptical on this one. But that would be interesting to see her dressed up as Ronin in the
I think
series.
that would be very creative and clever. I mean,
is there
just
any
going
links?
back where when he was Ronin, it was Nat who was the one who came and found him while he was under that guise and stuff. So to have Yelena pick that up too is just be a nice little, roundabout tie-in as well.
Yep.
Is there any links to the source material with Yelena and Ronin? And
no, it was just a brief thing I saw on social media, and I'm still trying to find more about it, but I'll keep hunting that down.
Cool.
So that's Hawkeye news. Next up, Secret Invasion. So there's the article that came out from comicbookmovie.com that had a bunch of things about some casting. So one of the quotes from the article says, Secret Invasion lead Emilia Clarke will portray a confident spy with some powers and attitude that can get in and out of situations with ease, as well as trained in intelligence. She will play opposite Ben Mendelsohn for most of the show. So, is she going to be a Skrull? Is she possibly Abigail Brand? Is she Jessica Drew?
Yeah.
Where are we going here with Emilia Clarke's role?
I'm guessing that it's going to be I mean, I would love for it to be Spider-Woman.
Yep.
But I don't see them doing that. It's too big of a character, but I also can't see them not, because she was such an important character to that story.
She was, yeah.
You know?
I kind of hope she's not Jessica Drew, because I like Amelia Clark, I do, but I don't see her as Jessica Drew. Jessica Drew, I see a more powerful, almost sort of like calculated businesswoman type, like, so somebody would wear sort of like a suit, and I've always really quite liked Jessica Biel as
a good
Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a definitely good throw. That I'm gonna have to run that by David too. See what he likes. He likes that cast.
Check some pictures of her out and see like so her role in the 18, the remake of the 18.
Yep, I think the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, see that. Oh, I'll tell you what else. While we're talking about roles, and I know we're talking about Netflix, and yes, okay, we've got Josh Bethnal as Frank Castle, Punisher. Yep. Yeah. But I watched the second Purge movie at the weekend with Frank Grillo in it.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Election year. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just went. That for me is Frank Castle. He was just a Punisher throughout that entire movie. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And obviously, I know he's played Crossbones, but he's sort of gone now.
He does have that gritty, bad, look, and just that aura to him. He just presents himself as just. Yeah. Don't F with me, like,
Yeah, definitely. Going back to Abigail Brand and Amelia Clark. There was that fan made picture of her with green hair and a green top on, and I was like, yes.
That I would love for her to be that. That would be a perfect cast for her, I think.
I'm leaning towards that as well. Either Abigail Brand or possibly Talos's daughter grown up.
Maybe, that's one. I mean, personally, I'd rather Brand. I think it's a more stamped, character.
Proper role. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And with going, onto the whole invasion, I think that's going to have such more of an impact than everybody's expecting. I think, they're kind of not haranguing us, but they're just kind of distracting us with so much going on with the multiverse and the timelines and stuff. I've forgotten like how big Secret Invasion actually is, and it, how much it affects the universe and comics. So it's going to do the same for the movie verse as well.
I agree.
And then next casting news from Secret Invasion, Christopher McDonald will portray Tucker Carlson, Fox News anchor type character. Role is said to be a fun part for the actor. Olivia Colman will portray a mysterious character who works behind the scenes, possibly with a Russian accent, and will also throw a punch. Major organizer, pull strings in the operations, really smart and powerful. So like Queen V.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. Yeah. So that's a good call. I mean, the way they were describing it really threw me off. I'm sitting there running, trying to think, with the accent, like they said and stuff. But that's a good call, Jarian. I like that.
From the comics, who was the female in Latveria with Doom? What was her name? I can't remember what her name was now. There was somebody that I'm thinking of, and now I can't think of what her name is. I'll come back to that.
Yeah. Let me scratch my brain on that one.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure there was somebody there. But anyway, go on, carry on.
And then last casting news, Kingsley Ben-Adir will go toe-to-toe with Sam Jackson. This is a major role on par with the two leads, Samuel Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. He came up the ranks with Skrull commanding. So he's definitely probably going to be a super Skrull, it sounds like.
That's going to be interesting, because I'd really like to see them take Skrulls back into the villain aspect of things and stuff. So, and a super Skrull is a huge, huge character. So I hope they get him right and they don't just, abomination treatment him.
I think they definitely will take the Skrulls back to that kind of them being villains and that whole, that whole thing, because the Skrulls, there's obviously a huge race. So exactly. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are not going to be good. Yep. So we've obviously met most of the good ones.
Exactly, and they might be the dying breed of their race. So maybe they've turned back, to being villain style nowadays. Yep. So and I just they could pull so many more stories that way, I think. So.
And the last bit of Secret Invasion news is that it's rumored to film starting next month, so August to December of this year for release in 2022. So
nice.
That's Secret Invasion.
We've got a few in 2020. What else did we have in 2022? We've also got Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yeah.
She-Hulk.
That's right. Yes. I did get the 2022.
They have said, I don't know where I've got this information from, but I wouldn't have written it down here if it wasn't, confirmed. Hey, look, sorry, just by the way, if anybody's watching, that if I sort of stand here, it looks like I've got extra.
Yeah.
I like it on you though. I mean, Jamie might be upset though, he's got the next door, so but that suits you, Andy. There you go. Yeah, like a shampoo commercial.
Sorry. For anybody that's listening, they're like, what just happened?
Sidetracked. Yeah,
sidetracked. So with Secret Invasion, he's got 6 episodes. Don't know how long they are, but it's got 6 episodes. I wouldn't have written it down if that hadn't come from.
That's honestly kind of worries me a little bit. I mean, like I was saying about believing that Secret Invasion would have a lot bigger impact. I mean,
well, maybe it's only a setup though. Maybe
that's true. I mean, they did pull off. Look what they did with Loki in 6. So that's true. All right, yeah.
All right, so speaking of Loki, good transition there.
There we go. It's on purpose.
Yeah, so there's been some news back and forth that Sylvie may or may not be in season 2. So there's some articles saying that it's going to build on her and Loki's, relationship, and there's other articles that say she may not even be in the show next season, depending on what direction the show takes. So I don't know what's going on there, but something to keep an eye out for.
See, I wouldn't hate that. I love Sylvie. I love the character a lot, but I wouldn't mind if they did season 2 on something completely different, with Loki. Yeah. But at least give us some closure with her on what she's doing, where she is, even if it's just Loki, mentioning her like, oh, I left Sylvie back there doing yada yada. Give us something. Don't just drop her in the wind.
Yep, yeah, exactly. I absolutely agree. I don't think that she can not be in it at all. Yeah. Even if it's just
by name,
or even if it's just closing her story off somehow. I don't know how, but I think that would be a big hole to leave.
Yes,
yeah, way too big.
Yeah.
So, that final show MCU intro that kind of did the whole, different universes, the voices, MCU, non-MCU. The spaceship has been a hot topic of conversation. So it's possibly an Easter egg. I'm still thinking about Fantastic Four possibly, but directly from Kate Herron, who did the show, says Marvel fans will recognize it if they have a good look at it. It's from previous tales of Marvel.
Yes. And I love that wording. And we talked about that previous tales, tales to suspense there. I love it.
Yep. Yeah. Tales to Astonish was Ant-Man, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, there was a ton of Ant-Man. Namor was one. So
that's the point. Does it look anything? I can't remember what it looks like, but does it look anything like what the spaceship was that Hank took into the quantum realm to get Janet in?
No,
Ant-Man
it does not.
No, it honestly, from the comics back then, it looks like every spaceship they ever drew. It was all that the stereotypical one, which just goes to show that it was a direct throwback to one of those things, because it really looked like a typical 1950s, 60s stereotypical spaceship,
Gotcha.
And the thing on that intro, though, what I found interesting, I've seen a couple people I've talked to about it, is I think it was a huge fourth wall breaking thing, because they did all the, MCU voices and stuff first. And it was like they were coming out of the MCU into our, reality and our thing. And that's when we heard the real life voices and stuff. So I think that was a big tease in that end, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was, I thought I took a snapshot of this theory in the forums, but someone thought it was possibly a villain ship that crash landed before they got their powers. And now I'm going blank. They got stranded somewhere. They got their powers. Was it a Galactus tie possibly, or?
Yep. Galactus. Yeah. That was Galactus's origin. His before the Big Bang, in his universe or whatever was being destroyed. It was the end of time for them. So he took off, hit a black hole, crash landed here, and then the Watcher found him, and he, got embedded with the powers, so powers.
Yeah, that's the post. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for refreshing that one. So, so could it be a cue to Galactus? Could it be You know,
that would be interesting.
Where the Fantastic Four have been, could it be tied to something completely else? You know, we'll have to find out and see on that one. The last piece is this went wild on TikTok theories and social media and so forth. The sync up video of Loki, the portion with He Who Remains in WandaVision. While it's a great sync up and I love the way it plays in, the showrunners have debunked that theory. There's no tie there. It's a happy coincidence.
I was going to say, have they debunked it as a coincidence, or have they debunked it as no, we did do it, but it doesn't actually mean anything?
It doesn't really mean anything. It's just a happy coincidence.
And that's honestly that's a once in a lifetime type of coincidence.
Yeah.
That honestly, just us as fans should be extremely thankful that happened. And if I was Marvel, like I've said it before, they've done it plenty of times. If something like this happens, run with it.
Yep.
Just take the credit for it and, go with it and create new stories using that. Like they did, with the Stan Lee cameo in Loki when he was in the picture and it wasn't actually him. And they're just like, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's let that be him now.
Have you ever wondered, I saw that rumor and then on the group, it must have been posted about 4 or 5 different, or tried to be posted about 400 or 500
times. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but from there was I think there was a guy saying it, then there was a girl saying it, then there was a meme about it, then there was a picture about it. But basically there was about 4 or 5 different ways that piece of news
was interpreted.
It was interpreted, and that was just on our group. Now there could have been millions of people making videos, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, wherever they're from, about that. And I've always wondered, and it got me thinking the other day about these pieces of news, and like that in particular, because that was such a amazing spot, really, for somebody to actually think about that, how that happened, really clever. So then it got me thinking, if you ever, either of you guys Family Guy fans?
Yes.
Have you seen the episode of Family Guy where they go on a road trip to try and find the origin of dirty jokes?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
They go on this big road trip and they go all over the world,
cracking down. Who told you this joke?
Where did the dirty joke
out of them? And
where did the dirty joke come from? And they find this place where all dirty jokes start from. And I'd wonder, I mean, whoever came up with that, whoever spotted that for the first time, because it was obviously a fan somewhere. Like Jarian said, the showrunners have said, no, that's just a coincidence. So basically, a fan somewhere has spotted that and put that out there on the internet. Do you know
exactly
what? Whoever you are, well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it works so well.
That's the whole thing with the group, and and why we, on this podcast, why we give credit to these theories that our members have and stuff, because you never know when one of them's just going to be 100% right and dead on, or find something amazing like that. And like you said, Andy, it always traces back to one person just watching the show and it clicks for them.
Yep.
So it's amazing. I love it. It's one of the funnest things with this.
Yeah. So, No Way Home, the mystery around Spider-Man No Way Home. So let's talk about that. So we all know that, that Kevin Feige has kind of suggested or / hinted that it's a trilogy of WandaVision, No Way Home, and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, right? But now we're hearing that Charlie Cox possibly doing reshoots. He had to abruptly cancel a public appearance for a schedule change. Are we going to get some more scenes there with Charlie Cox? Is just Matt Murdock the lawyer? Is he going to actually do some Daredevil type stuff in the film? But we know that he had to abruptly cancel a public appearance for a schedule change. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's real. And most of the rumors that I've heard surrounding that was that it's strictly just going to be Matt Murdock. He won't be costumed up.
I think so as well.
Which I don't mind. That's fine. Because there's so much going on in that movie anyways. That'll be more than enough of a, Easter egg for me. So
yeah, I'm still secretly hoping that we get absolutely no trailer for that at all.
I think it would be brilliant.
It'd be brilliant, but there's a reason why possibly, and we'll talk about some stuff here in a second. But other things that's been teased, we keep seeing more villains leak. So are we going to see the Sinister Six in this film?
Speaking of, before I jump into that, just going on the Spider-Man No Way Home stuff, I just want a huge shout out from everybody on the internet to Boss Logic for supplying us with fan stuff. And that's the most we're getting is from him. Marvel's not giving us anything to play with and to look at. He's doing all the work. So I appreciate it, even though it's, rumor and fan stuff. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, big shout out to him. Yeah, exactly, because he's doing some great stuff. So, there's more rumors about villains, who's in it, who's not in it. We know a couple villains are in it. Are we going to see possibly the Sinister Six in this movie? Is it possibly Sony going to tease, Peter Parker going over to the Venom verse? I doubt we'll see Venom come over or Carnage come over at this time. But we could see after this movie, Spider-Man going over to.
I think that's going to be the time frame. The way they're going to do it is Spider-Man will go there first before any of them come into MCU.
Yep. Yeah. When is Let There Be Carnage and when is Morbius coming out? Do we know?
Morbius, we don't know for sure anymore.
I think Morbius kind of got lost in the mess of everything with the reschedules and stuff. Carnage is February. I don't know why. I think so. I don't know why I want to say but I want to say February for some reason. But
20 well, no, it says 2021 on here.
Oh, really? Might be October then.
I'm on IMDb at the moment. No, it's apparently 24th of September.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So apparently the 24th of September.
Ooh, that's when's Eternals dropping? Isn't that around there too?
Same time. I think earlier in the month.
November.
Oh, okay.
I thought Eternals was September. Okay.
No,
I was going to say that's a ballsy.
No, Shang-Chi September. September.
Shang-Chi's the 3rd of September. Eternals is the 5th of November.
That's right. Yeah. Good call.
Morbius is scheduled at the moment on IMDb. It's saying
to be determined.
January 28th, 2022.
Okay.
So all within a very close time.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of the Venom verse, the Sony execs have said that there is actually a plan between MCU and Sony about the Venom verse.
That's one of the biggest positive things I've heard around surrounding any of that. And so I love that. That's got me actually excited because I was very wary that Sony was going to stop being stingy and didn't want to, they want to just move everything back over for themselves. But that's got me very hopeful, and I'm excited about that.
So I'm excited. I have a theory I'll share too once I get to the new casting news. But I'm going to finish this piece first. But go ahead, Andy.
Oh no, I was just going to say that's really promising. I agree with Jason. Actually, I'm really excited about that news, and I'm excited about that news for two reasons. A, because obviously it means bringing all of these characters together under one roof. But B, because it means I might get more excited about those other projects.
Exactly. Yeah, they mean more to us now.
Yeah, I would still. Don't get me wrong. I would still watch them.
Yeah,
100%. I would still watch them. I would still be interested in them. I would still like them.
But we'll be invested in them more now because they're connected to all these other ones that we spend so much time and stuff in. So I agree.
Exactly.
Spot on it.
Yep. Sorry.
And we know Kraven the Hunter is coming. We know Aaron Taylor Johnson, formerly known as Quicksilver, is going to be playing Kraven the Hunter in the Venomverse.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is, I watched. I think we spoke about this a little while ago, didn't we? When the news first came out, I watched Tenet. I didn't even realize it was him in Tenet.
Yeah. And when I first heard the rumor or the casting, shouldn't say rumor, the casting, I was like, no way, that's ridiculous. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah,
definitely, yeah.
And so No Way Home could be a huge movie in terms of Marvel Cinematic Universe and Sony. And it could make sense to why, they've been hushed on the trailer and so forth. Before I touch on that, though, there is some casting news. And this goes with a theory I might have. So Paula Newsome has been cast in a role. We don't know what the role is yet. There's been some traction on, is she MJ's mom? Or is she Miles Morales' mom? A link there. And so if she is another hint to Miles Morales, because we already got his uncle in Homecoming. My thought is maybe this could be kind of Peter Parker's big last stand in the MCU for a while. So maybe they do introduce Miles. They initially have Peter mentor him, and then they hand the Spider-Man reins over to Miles Morales. Then we get Peter Parker doing cameos every once in a while for Miles Morales. While Peter Parker is over
Tony Stark style. Yeah.
That is exactly what I think is going to happen.
Yep.
Serena, you were saying about the Miles Morales. Didn't they release a date for Spider-Verse 2?
I think.
Yeah, they have. I don't know though.
But I don't know the date.
I'll have a look.
Yeah. No, that was. I thought I popped in my head when you were just saying that. But going back on that as well, I definitely 120,000,000% need to see what's his name, Donald Glover back as the Prowler. I loved that casting. It was just perfect. He deserves that role, you know.
And hopefully they expand on that as him as the Prowler.
That would be amazing.
I liked Donald Glover. I think he's really cool, and I think he could do. I'd like to see him in a bit more of a villainy type role.
Yep.
Yeah. The 2022 expected. Oh,
it wasn't
expected. October 2022.
So just over a year away. So
yeah, a whole year. Well, more than a year away. Yeah, so a long way away.
So we keep seeing toy leaks of Spider-Man stuff, from Legos to Funko Pops to action figures and so forth, but still no trailer. So what's going on with the trailer? You know, and you guys said, you know, that they should do the movie and no trailers, which would be actually pretty genius, because maybe, as Jason has said before, the trailer gives too much away. But
that was my main thinking. The one what you're about to get into, it definitely kind of changed my mind. But that was my original thinking with it. It was just, this movie's so impactful, so big that there's literally just not enough scenes and footage that they could use as a trailer without giving something away. You know.
But since this movie will be a dual Marvel Studios and Sony release, and, you know, with Marvel having Disney Plus to help, you know, with their movie releases, Sony doesn't have that. So one of our group members, John Rapicio, I hope I'm saying his last name properly, he posted, "I think a very realistic issue is that they can't commit to releasing it in December because of COVID. They probably don't want a Black Widow or Morbius situation with a trailer out for almost a year if it were to be delayed until next spring or summer." John, then I said, well, you know, I understand that, but they're doing these other movies. And then John further said 2 parts to that. First being Shang-Chi and Eternals are marketed by Disney, Spider-Man by Sony. So off the bat, those making the decisions are different. But outside of that, both trailers to Shang-Chi and Eternals were released about 1 to 2 months ago, before Delta variant was causing increasing issues with it, which it is now. People forget that Spider-Man, out of all the movies, is the one geared to children the most. And right now, there isn't a vaccine for younger children. Cases are rising. Studio may be getting nervous. So that is a very good point by John.
That was huge.
Yep.
Because that was my rebuttal to him at first, too. It was the same as you. We're in the same condo there. I was just like, well, look at Black Widow. Look at Shang-Chi. And the Sony thing is completely different. And I think, who was it in our chat? There was it Alex that brought it up, too, that the deal might be affecting it too, because Sony has more stakes in this, you know, being a box office hit on release day, you know, where I think Disney, you know, gets like the toy money out of it, you know, so that's exactly the one I was talking about earlier, that it changed my mind. And I think that's affecting this huge.
I wonder how, obviously this is going to have a massive effect on the MCU, regardless of where Peter Parker goes after this movie. This movie is going to have a huge effect on the wider MCU. So I wonder, because I'm right in thinking that there was a deal hashed out between Sony and Disney that Homecoming and Far From Home were going to come onto Disney Plus.
Yep.
I don't know when that's happening, because they're not on there at the minute, are they?
Nope,
I don't think.
No, not yet. No.
But I did see that, didn't I? I'm not imagining that.
No, I've heard that. Yep.
So that did happen. So I wonder, because this is going to be important to the wider MCU, can Marvel / Disney afford for it to be delayed? So will they turn around and go, well, look, Disney Plus is here.
Yep.
You can use it.
You can use it, because we need this movie to be released.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that might be part of the whole thing on why Sony's been turning around saying, like, we got future plans to, you know, stay with the MCU and cross them over. Maybe that was part of the deal. Like, you know, we're giving you access to Disney Plus. Stick around with us for a little bit more and let us play with your stuff. I can see that. That's a great point, Andy. I like that.
Who knows?
Yep. So that's all the No Way Home news I have for now. Let's talk about She-Hulk. We know She-Hulk is starting to film. We know that there's been some videos of Jamila doing workouts and getting ready for the fight scenes. But there's been another casting. So they have cast Arrow's Josh Shigara in a mystery role. Is he Rick Jones?
I was hearing about that. That actually might be. I could totally see that. Just visual wise, like I could see him looking that part. So that would be cool.
I've always, yeah, I could, but I see Rick Jones as he looks too, I don't know, handsome, maybe. I don't know. I'd see Rick Jones being younger, a little bit geekier, a little bit nerdier, a little bit scrawnier. I don't know. That guy, what did you say his name was? Sorry, Jarian? Josh
Shigera.
Yeah, I just see him as a little bit too
modelish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rick Jones and some of his comics, you know, he did have some build to him. So
that's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking, you know, Rick Jones more in the, you know, 80s, 90s era where, you know, he was actually, you know, sauced up and, you know, had the physique and was actually a force to reckon with. I think they'd play more in that one than because I mean, I doubt he's going to be a main character. So I doubt they're going to dive into his actual backstories and go into detail on, you know, how he became big and stuff. They're just going to start him off with being a force, I guess. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking, but.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I was just talking to the Hulk. And the Ang Lee Hulk was on last night on the telly. And do you know what? I've been not necessarily defending it, but I've always like, no, it's all right. It's all right. Actually, when you watch it again,
it's not.
It's not.
Not it really even close. Not even close.
It's not. And actually, there's a lot about it that you just, and it wasn't that long ago either, really. No. 2003, and actually some of the special effects. Yeah, I'm looking at that thinking that's 2003. That's pretty poor, actually. And I don't usually say that about any movie. I'm usually quite like, no. No,
I did. I was the same way as you for a while. I defended it for the longest time, and it was exactly like you said. It was because I hadn't watched it in the longest time. Then I went back, we watched it, and I was like, oh my God, I got to go delete so many, you know, posts and tweets again. I don't want anybody knowing I was sticking up for this movie.
Yeah, it is a bit bad anyway. Sorry, Jarian, digress there a little bit. Go back to She-Hulk.
I think we're also going to be getting the Wrecking Crew also.
Yes.
That was heavily rumored, I believe.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. And I've made a post about this ages ago. I reckon what they should do is they should just cast 4 wrestlers.
Yep.
Yes.
Just they don't even need to be able to act very good. They just need to be there, look great, and just be really good.
Take a beating and
take a beating, throw themselves. I mean, let's face it. You look at professional wrestlers in the WWE or whichever franchise that you follow. Really, they're very similar. They're fantastically. They're in great shape.
Yep.
They throw themselves about brilliantly. You know, perfect. I can't imagine any. They don't, again, like everyone goes, oh, they can't act. Well. They don't really need to.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just surprised in general they don't use athletes and stunt doubles and wrestlers in these roles because these are what superheroes are. They're these finely tuned machines, which of course all of these actors and stunt doubles and these guys wrestling are. I'm just surprised they don't. You know, I do give a big shout out to Wonder Woman though. For using with the Amazons, they actually did use athletes for those roles.
Yeah, they did.
The thing with that, the reason why I can see they don't is just the money wise. It would cost so much more money to hire an athlete, you know, somebody like that. Where the stunt doubles, they get treated like crap throughout the industry.
I follow quite a few of them. So there was a girl called Brooke Entz. She was in Wonder Woman as an Amazonian. She's an ex-CrossFit athlete.
Yep.
There was another girl called Jessie Graff who was big on American Ninja Warrior. She's like
I heard that name before. Top
athlete. She was in Wonder Woman. And a girl also, another girl that I follow who I first saw on the UK version of Ninja Warrior, Katie McDowell. She was the stunt double. Well, I don't think she was the stunt double full time for Daisy Ridley, the girl that played Ray.
Yes.
Played Ray in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But you know the scene where Kylo Ren is coming in his spaceship towards her in the last one, and she's running away from it.
Flip
flip. Yeah, she done that. But they're amazing people to follow on social media. Watching some of the stuff that they do is just absolutely incredible. And like you said,
they don't get enough credit.
Yeah, they don't.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No.
And honestly, too, if most of the movie these superheroes are in some kind of costume and we can't see their face anyway, just give them voiceover and let these people, these athletes and CrossFit and all these other people do all this stuff in the movie. You know, I don't know. This is my opinion.
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, I'll say it again. Cast four professional wrestlers for the Wrecking Crew.
Yes.
It's perfect. Exactly. Like you said, they don't need to act. They don't need to, be Emmy nomination type style actors. Just put them in there, let them beat the crap out of each other, and just go nuts.
So Miss Marvel, another Disney Plus show that's coming. Marketing has kicked in. Some new merchandise is being released. So I definitely think we're hinting towards Miss Marvel being released after What If. Another probably spot on guest by Andy.
Yeah, dude. I was thinking about that the other day. You kind of laid this out. I was like, did he have some insider information? What's he holding out on us? Because you've hitting these pretty right on the head, dude.
Yeah, I think looking at that series as well, I think I'm not sure how it's going to sit into anything. It kind of seems like a bit of an outlier at the moment. I don't know why. It's because I mean, correct me, I don't know, but I don't see it as sitting in with the kind of WandaVision / Loki side of things, and I also don't see it sitting in with the Falcon and Winter Soldier / Hawkeye side of things. I'm like, where
Cosmic.
does that?
Secret invasion. I think that's going to be its biggest tie. Yeah,
or even Cosmic too, because we know that Miss Marvel will appear in Captain Marvel too.
Mm-hmm.
Could it? So yes, that's right. So could it sit in with the Eternals in any way? I don't know.
Well, possibly. Well, that's the thing. It depends on what they do with Kamala Khan and if they introduce her as an Inhuman.
Yes,
because that was where I was going with it. Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest question has been, and I posted in our group too, is it's like, are they going to do it the right way and make it Inhumans? Are they going to ignore the whole Inhumans background and kind of do it similar to what they did with Wanda and Mutants, and ignore that? So it's going to be interesting how they do Miss Marvel. Personally, I hope they do at least hint at Medusa and Black Bolt.
They got to introduce the Inhumans.
And give me a Lockjaw appearance.
Yes. Lockjaw and Kamala Khan is one of my favorite relationships.
Yes.
I think they could 100% tease the Inhumans, and I really do think they could get on to releasing an Inhumans movie.
Absolutely.
Straight away. I mean, that Inhumans thing that was released a few years ago.
That TV show was terrible. But
that's gone out of my mind.
Exactly.
Sure.
Same here.
But props to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they actually did Humans a lot better than the TV show.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully we'll see Daisy back as Quake as well.
I love her. She was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's Miss Marvel. Now Black Panther 2, which I also have a group post theory as well, and my own theory. They reportedly have cast Black Mirror's Michaela Coel in the Underscrolls role. Now, my initial thoughts, a lot of people are saying she's going to be Storm. I don't think we're going to Storm Black Panther 2. I don't see where it fits in the story at this time. My first initial thought was Madam Slay, and here's why. There's been some secrecy around Killmonger and Michael B. Jordan. Will he be in it? Will he won't be in it? He won't answer properly. It's been kind of hush-hush. It's kind of like a secret now. Madam Slay and Killmonger were a couple in the comics. There was a scene where he got thrown off a cliff. She had some herbs that to keep him alive before the Mandarin actually fully resurrected Killmonger. So with this role, if she is indeed Madam Slay, is this going to be more hints towards Killmonger's return? She's typically an enemy of Wakanda. She controls leopards. But maybe they make her an ally of Wakanda in Black Panther 2.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, the whole thing about with her resurrecting in that storyline from the comics. I was thinking maybe what if somehow, for some reason, she actually has like, excuse me, like one last, thing of the herb flower.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Cough up,
and
cough
then,
up,
yeah.
chicken, cough up,
and then, and then she gives it to, to Killmonger. And then that's his return to how he gets his powers back and how he becomes the new Black Panther.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because instead of her being a villain, she's an ally. She rehabilitates him, nurses him back to health.
Wakanda needs somebody to step in and
they
help.
They still have the love story. She's maybe still can control leopards and stuff, but she's not a villain. She's a
I agree. I'm thinking about it, and I think maybe that the Wakandans have kind of got locked up in a nice way.
Oh,
She's been kept prisoner, but in a nice way. Like I say, in a nice way. If there's a nice way to keep somebody prisoner, you know, like they're kind of like holding her in a tower or something like that, you know, because they can't let her
not in
loose
shackles, but
no, not in shackles, but you know, they're feeding her and stuff. But no, they're sort of looking after her because she's too dangerous to kind of let go.
Mm-hmm.
So they're keeping her, but they're looking after because they're not savages. So they're looking after her.
Just they know the possibility of what she's capable of. So they, you know, just I can see that happening totally. Wakanda has the tech and the power to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether they are now seeing this, whether they go down the whole route of having T'Challa die and then needing to resurrect Killmonger somehow, and she's a part of that. I don't know.
Yeah. So speaking of Killmonger, so Michael Law, which in our group posted this theory to my post on this as we were discussing this. He's like, I always believed that he could have a redemption arc, and this is about Killmonger.
Yeah,
just as strong as Bucky's. The scene of Sunset with Killmonger and T'Challa was extremely powerful as a villain sees the light. Yep. Let Killmonger learn of T'Challa's death, the direction he wanted Wakanda to go in, and allow him to be great warrior for Wakanda. If Shuri's next in line, let her lead. But my issue is that the MCU wasn't grooming her to be a leader so soon. And I'm 100% agreeing with Michael on
that. I'm back to, I mean, and I love the idea of Shuri, you know, being up there, but I agree with that 100%.
I was going to wait till the end of the show to sort of mention this, and I'll mention it again. I will mention it again at the end of the show, but hopefully, well, it will happen. On Sunday, we're going to have a special guest on, and he has got probably the best breakdown of what should happen with Black.
I remember
Black
that,
Panther.
He did. He shot that really good.
Yeah, he did. And I'll actually prep him so that he comes ready with it. Because every time somebody says that about it on the group, I'm like, right, I'm going to tag this person. Boom, tag him in. Do your theory, and then he does it, and everyone goes,
"Oh yeah." That to me, the first time he ever mentioned it in the group, I was one of those adamant about my stance. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to give away his yet, but I was so adamant in mine. I fought tooth and nail for what I thought was going to happen, and it was one of the things I was really stubborn on. And then I was reading his, and halfway through, I was like, "Damn it, he's right."
Like, same, exactly the same. So, Michael Law, I'm completely on the same page with you. I think they could do a Killmonger redemption arc for this one, and then maybe look at changing things up for Black Panther 3 after that. Now, here's another theory here in our conversation about this by Nick Bauer of our group, but it's not Madam Slay, it's not Storm. This one is Princess Xanda. He says Princess Xanda could work. Character ties back to Jack Kirby like his Eternals, and there's a story with a time machine as well as her being being a regent of a rival nation to Wakanda. So time machine, maybe that's how, you know, later on bringing back T'Challa if they, you know, depending what route they go. But also too, but if I remember correctly, didn't she also imprison T'Challa briefly in the comics too as well?
I'm trying to remember exactly. I'm not fully familiar with her actually.
Yeah, I thought she did. I thought she did briefly in the comics. I gotta go back and read this. I thought she briefly did imprison T'Challa for a while, which could explain his absence. She also had magic frogs too. If I remember
I thought, for some reason, I always thought she was a member of the Shia, but I can't. It's not ringing a bell for me. I got to go back and look into her. That's a good one though. That might be. I want to definitely check that one out.
So good things in our group about Black Panther 2 and some thoughts there on the casting and direction, and really looking forward to talking with Monty on his thoughts on our next episode.
Yeah, definitely.
And the next thing too, news today is that Wakanda has started set building. I'm sorry, for Black Panther 2, they started set building for Wakanda. And it looks like in the article and the videos, it looks like they're building the throne room in Wakanda. So
you can see that they got the grand stairs coming down. It looks like some pillars. It looks huge and massive. So it's got to be something to that level. I mean, they went above and beyond for Wakanda. It was one of my favorite places in the MCU, you know, that they've made. And so I'm excited to see this. This looks great.
So that's the Black Panther 2 news, Wakanda Forever. But also, too, it sounds like Winston Duke, who plays M'Baku, is going to be the voice of Batman in one of the series as well. So just a little tidbit there for one of the actors doing some stuff. Captain Marvel 2, everyone's favorite subject, Captain Marvel. So Lashana Lynch, who plays Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, is reportedly returning for Captain Marvel 2. My thought, most likely this is for flashbacks, since we haven't seen her since Captain Marvel, and next thing we know that she has passed away while Monica was snapped, and we found out Maria's fate in WandaVision.
Yep.
Maybe it's more backstory on Carol, Maria's falling out. Maybe
I need that. I need to see her absolutely just dope smack Carol. Like, oh, I can't wait for that.
Maybe a scroll. Maybe Maria is alive in space with Fury. And that leads me to another group members theory. Some good theories from the news. From Charles Betancourt. At first, he thought possibly multiverse, which I don't think the multiverse angle is here.
No.
I said I could see as a scroll, and then he goes, "What if she is away somewhere? Her death was faked for some reason." Like in Space with Fury, because we know Talos is impersonating Fury on Earth right now. So what if, and
the fake of death that's right in the cards for Fury to pull.
And she was doing something with Sword before she passed away. So maybe something happened within Sword, or maybe what's his name from WandaVision, and her had a falling out. And
the director.
The new director.
So I can totally see that.
Jarian, go back to when did you say Secret Invasion was being filmed at the end of this year?
This year, next month, August through the end of this year.
So generally speaking, I mean, once things are filmed, they take about 9 months to actually come out. Am I right in that? Yeah, about 9 months.
Give or take. Yeah.
So probably September, August of next year.
Average,
Yeah, and then so the Marvels comes out on November.
I see
11th.
where you're going with this. Yeah,
that comes out on November 11th next year. So I'm wondering whether
shoot at the same. Get some.
Whether Secret Invasion, whether Secret Invasion will come out right around the same time as the Marvels.
Yep.
So
and there's your tie there.
The scroll there. Exactly.
Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel 2, Secret Invasion. There's that tie right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that whole little block is going to be really important there. You've got
similar themes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the whole the whole scroll thing I was saying about how Secret Invasion is going to have its own giant impact on the MCU. I think they're starting to build their importance there.
Yep. I think they're laying
with the Marvels and
I think they're laying down the sort of foundations now for so many different stories to go off on their own thing. I mean, we've got all of this entire sort of Thunderbolts / Dark Avengers thing that is underlining everything that's going on at the moment. This kind of unspoken sort of story that's happening. That's not really. There's no plans for it. There's no movies that are even really about it. But that's there. I'll tell you what somebody did bring up the other day. Actually, brought up that could we see, and I hope that we don't see it just yet, but it would be cool, and I hope we do see it at some point. But the Siege of Asgard coming up in Love and Thunder. I'd quite like to see the Siege of Asgard, but not yet. I don't think we're ready for it yet. I think that needs to be a bit further down the line.
Yeah, I think that would be too soon. I mean, after everything Asgard's been gone, just went through, and so and they're just in the rebuilding phase. I don't think yet, but I would love it, and I can totally see them doing that soon. Yeah,
I do. Anyway, go back to what I was saying. Yeah, you've got the whole Thunderbolts Dark Avengers thing. You've got the Secret Invasion thing going on. You've got the cosmic thing with there's Fantastic Four coming in. You've got the whole multiverse thing that's happening. The Spider-Man thing that's happening. You've got the sort of more grounded people.
The big question about it, I think, Jarian, you and I were talking about the other day, is just, are they going to connect all these into one big finale at the end of the phase, like with the street level stories that they're doing? And then, like you said, their multiverse stories that they're doing, and then their, cosmic stories they're doing, and then their timeline stories they're doing it. Are they all going to, is Kang, going to be the big bad guy for all the accumulation of all those, or are they all going to just do their own thing? Which I think they should. I think they,
I agree.
I agree. We'll have different teams doing their own thing, possibly some
just coexisting, just like the comics do. You know,
because
that also explains why they're not crossing over, and because some things it's like, well, why didn't Thor come? He could just slap everybody. But he can't because he's off fighting, this and that in space or something. So I think it actually opens more doors for them to do that.
There was a really nice moment in Endgame, weren't there, where somebody said something to Carol about, well, where have you been? And
Yes.
she turned around and
And
was
the
like,
same thing
well,
what Fury said with Spider-Man when he was
Yep.
like, well, where's Thor? Off world. Well, what about Doctor Strange? He's fighting this. So
yeah, that's it. There's loads of other things going on, but that's such a. I mean, to be honest, I must admit, back in my sort of more naive times, I was like, well, where's such as why doesn't
exactly.
such and
I
such just
still
come
do.
down and do this? But actually,
still.
I think you can kind of eventually you kind of wean yourself off of saying that, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's still always in the back of my mind. I mean, even to this day, when I'm reading a comic and I'm just like, well, come on, we'll just give the Hulk a call. Like, it's you can't help it sometimes.
So moving on, movie news now. I think we're in the movie news. We're don't worry. Well, we have 2 more shows we'll talk about, but I'll go to some more movies now. So that's Captain Marvel 2. Speaking of cosmic, Guardians of the Galaxy. So James Gunn, I think was either today or yesterday in some articles, has been quoted saying you need to watch the Guardians Holiday Special before watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so Guardians Holiday Special will be canon and it'll be tied to the story. They'll be filming Guardians Holiday Special the same time as Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. So it sounds like it's going to be live action. It's going to be part of the
what I'm curious
is
it actually going to be a legit holiday special, or is that just the title of it because it'll take
it's going to be during the holidays?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Which I can see. So maybe it's an actual legit canon movie, you know what I mean? Like, and not just, Christmas trees and seeing Groot putting the star up. Like,
yeah, well, he said it's going to be canon, and it's tied to it, so you're going to have to see the holiday special before you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to get the whole story.
Yeah, so and it's not, so for me, it wasn't the fact that it was going to be canon. I think that was always going to be the case. Yep. It was the fact that he said, this is going to be important. Yep. You're going to want to watch this before you see Guardians 3. So again, me with my dates, Guardians 3 is 5th of May, 2023. So we're talking, 4 or 5 months after Christmas.
So probably December, January timeframe, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I mean, so you've got, you have got, like we said, the Marvels coming out in November, but then nothing after that. I mean, whether Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, She-Hulk comes around that time, I don't know. And then Quantum Mania is in February.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes.
So also being reported about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is that Sylvester Stallone will be returning and possibly some other Ravagers for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Well, what was that rumor that the next one was actually going to be about the original the original Guardians of the Galaxy and those guys?
So we could see some flashbacks.
Oh yeah. Yep. All right, yeah. Because at first when I heard those rumors, I'm like, no, they're not going to just ditch our Guardians, that would make no sense. So I could totally see that though. That would be a good idea.
I could see flashbacks, or I could see them having to team up for whoever the big bad's going to be. Which, speaking of the big bad. Are we going to get any more closure on Adam Warlock's tease from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 closing credits?
Needed. It's not are we going to? It's we need it.
Could he be the villain? Could he be the villain?
Do that to us. That's not cool. That's not fair.
He's got to come in.
Could he be the villain?
Could he?
He absolutely could.
Yeah, so he could be the villain, maybe.
And,
the villain,
and you don't even have to technically make him a villain. I mean, he was always kind of that pragmatic type character where he did what he had to do.
Exactly.
And sometimes what he had to do was stuff that,
crack some skulls.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's true. And so I could totally see that, and that would tie in great with the whole emotional thing of the Guardians. It's like, do we stop him? Because he's technically right. And, so it could play in nicely.
And there's
and that's definitely something up Gunn's style I could see him doing.
And there's also rumors that we'll get some background on Rocket as well. His backstory and possibly someone dying.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to get a couple. Yeah.
To be I think we'll honest, see a couple as of them. Much as I love them, I kind of, if somebody is, I think it should be Quill.
Yep.
Because eventually, I want Kitty Pryde to be Star-Lord. I want her to. I need that. That's one of my favorite Star-Lords. She's a mutant. She's an X-Men. So it ties in. You'll find out. But.
And then the last thing is that James Gunn also in reporting that he's teasing that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be gigantic, whatever that means. So
yeah, that's interesting. He's really, and it's, I don't know if he's actually true or if he's just hyping himself, because I mean, he's also been talking, not negatively, but he's kind of downplaying the rest of, superhero movies lately, saying they need to change. And so I don't know if it's an arrogant statement or if he's talking about the impact of the movie and the story. So it's interesting.
So moving on, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. So there is a rumor that Haley Atwell is rumored to be in Doctor Strange 2 as Captain Carter, which would then directly tie to What If, because we know in What If she will be Captain Carter. So if we see her in some kind of portal or some kind of brief thing, it is Multiverse of Madness, so it can happen. She's rumored to be in the movie as Captain Carter.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I mean, that could canonize her back in Loki. That theory, everybody said they saw her in Loki. And that's also another situation where the MCU can just run with it, even if it wasn't her. So.
Yeah, now, I think we'd go. Personally, I'd go with the idea of seeing her in portals, or they're traveling through multiverses quickly. Yeah, it's like, oh, look, there's one. There's somebody, and she's like, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm this person." Right, next one, moving on.
Exactly, just in passing situation.
But I feel more and more that What If is going to be connected to the main.
Hands down. Hands down. I know you kind of went into it, in our last episode about it, and I'm fully on board for that too. It's going to actually connect, not just be canon as its own universe timeline. It's going to affect things. So.
Yeah, I think it's funny actually, isn't it? When we think that a movie or a project or whatever is not going to have the biggest effect, it has a huge effect. I mean, you look at Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp was released in between.
It was supposed to be just a fun,
yeah, and then it was basically the solution to everything.
Exactly.
And
also pretty much set up this whole phase. At the quantum realm, we're going to be getting into all that. So
yeah, I mean, look how important it seems like Ant-Man 3 is going to be super important.
Exactly.
I mean, so whenever we see a project that we kind of think, oh, I'm not sure that that's actually going to have much relevance, it tends to have a lot of relevance.
Yeah, as the MCU, when you think they're going to zig, they zag.
So speaking of that, we had that conversation. Speaking of Ant-Man and Wasp, sorry to sidetrack here for a second, but speaking of Ant-Man and the Wasp, could a Nathaniel Richards Kang variant be the special buyer from Ant-Man and the Wasp? What's his name? Mr. G. We had a discussion in the group.
Guy Fon.
Yes. What's that?
What? Oh, yeah, I remember.
The guy that bought Queen Tower.
Yes, Griffin. Yeah.
Yes. So could he possibly be in Quantumania? Could he have been the special buyer in Ant-Man and the Wasp? It looks like in Loki. We know that he bought the Avengers Tower. Could he also been the special buyer from Spider-Man: Homecoming as well for the Avengers Tower also? So are there some strings here being tied out?
That. Yeah, I remember you were saying that, and also tying it into, maybe he's working with Val and on the street level end of things. And I love that idea of having another version of Kang being a bad guy for, completely separate side of the MCU, and then not having them even tie in where he meets the Conqueror Kang or anything, just having this one be here because they were all unleashed. So they're going to be spread out throughout the, multiverse, wreaking havoc. So,
So there's possibly a tie there. Sorry to sidetrack to Quantumania. The other Doctor Strange news, today they released some new logos for characters. So Doctor Strange, Wanda/Scarlet Witch, but they also did one for America Chavez, also known as Miss America. And we know that
logos. Yes. Oh, were those ones that were on the that came with the Legos?
No,
the Lego figures.
Not just the Legos. This was actually from the set. These were set pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So there's a Multiverse of Madness official logo. There's logos for the characters, but it's interesting that they had one for America Chavez, Miss America, because we know that she's basically a super soldier that can jump dimensions, right? Because she has speed, strength, durability, plus she has interdimensional travel. So it sounds like she may be a a big role in Multiverse of Madness if she's getting her own logo.
I think she should. I mean, there's so much they can explore with her character, and she could tie in a lot to a lot of these stories that are going on.
Yep. And then another rumor is that there's a potential Namor reference with the potential casting detail for Gargantos, which is a tentacle octopus-like creature that works with a villain or enemy of Namor. But I don't know. I don't see how that ties into Multiverse of Madness. My question is that maybe everyone thinking this is Gargantos or it's being hidden, and this is really misdirection for Shuma Gorath, because we know that Miss Marvel or Miss America has ties to that. We know the tentacles are there. This fits more. Shuma fits more than Gargantos.
Well, here's the thing with the
Multiverse of
MCU. It's they do like taking, especially nowadays, the obscure characters and stuff, but not that obscure.
Yeah,
like
I don't see it.
like Shuma Gorath is at level that they'd pull from and use somebody like him because he is obscure and he is hard, but at least people know him to an extent that they'll watch him.
Yeah,
I think the obscureness, if it's an obscure character that nobody's ever heard of, isn't the problem. I think it's if it's what's the word I'm looking for, like just a little bit strange, like a little I'm looking for a specific word and it's just on the tip of my tongue. It's late and I'm tired.
Yeah, I know.
It's a word like, but basically like it's not relatable, but like like Dormammu in the first one, this kind of like this weird being that you can't really place. Like, I think if you can place where this being is supposed to be, or like what they are supposed to be, I don't think it matters how obscure they are, because
you can get a gist of them. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that a majority of the side characters, if it's not Doctor Strange, I would say that a majority of the characters from the Doctor Strange world are probably going to be obscure to most people. Obviously, yeah, there's going to be a core of diehard comic fans. Yeah, but so you've not only got to be a comic fan, you've got to be a Doctor Strange fan,
which even for those diehard fans, his his story and his background and his rogues gallery, it's crazy, so
exactly. So it's got to be relatable. That's still not the word. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to search for here, but there's a word that I'm searching for that, like, it doesn't matter who the character is. It's just got to kind of be portrayed on screen in a way that we can understand.
Exactly. It has that certain presence to them where you can connect with them and, at least follow along and enjoy it. That makes sense. I know you're trying to,
So just explain a little bit about, how do you pronounce it? Shuma Gorath.
Yes.
So just explain a little bit about that, because I'll tell you what, I've obviously stayed up late to do this, and I was just watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And at the beginning of that, there's the Obelisk, which is an intradimensional being who's trying to steal the batteries off of the Guardians, isn't it? Yep. And it got me thinking. I was like, oh, I wonder whether that's somewhere along those lines.
Like
I don't know.
Like tied together, possibly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're kind of similar. So Shuma's like a big octopus-looking thing with the eye in the middle. It's a demon basically. Powers, kind of on the line, something that we would see more Doctor Strange type of thing. I could even see Shuma possibly at first manipulating America Chavez, and then America Chavez coming over to Doctor Strange's side. Is my guess.
But I mean, the thing with Shuma Gorath that would tie into a lot of the more relevant stuff that's been going on, not just because he's a strange villain, but he's one of the oldest ones
and multiple universes.
Yes, like
universes.
Do you mean
hundreds of millions of years ago he came to this universe, trying to take over? So it would tie in with the whole timelines and elders and stuff like that as well.
And so Shuma's also a godlike creature too. So what if Shuma actually gives America Chavez her powers? She's a minion of Shuma, and then comes over to be.
Somebody was just asking about stuff like that on the comments before we started, and I was actually bringing up. I'd love to see Cetrac, or at least them go into a little bit more about them, because we've seen Strange using the bands of Cetrac, which for people who don't know is same thing as a god who the Juggernaut from X-Men comics, that's how he gets his powers. Sidorak embeds him with the powers because, so that's how he gets his strength and all that. So I'd love to see them start exploring stuff like that.
But if they do bring in Shumagrath, which is interesting, they could possibly introduce other gods like Crom, because actually Crom defeated Shumagrath, imprisoned Shuma in a mountain, and then if we get Crom, we could get Conan.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that would be cool. But as much as I loved Conan, I hated when they reintroduced him into like the nowadays version of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so random, and it was such a money grab. Like keep him back in the 80s and just replay his stories. Like,
do you think some of these more abstract?
Yes.
There you go.
That was the word.
I would have given up. That's what I like about you, Andy. You will come back with it. When you say give me a minute, you'll come back with it.
It just come out, to be honest. It just come out. Because what I was going to say is, do you think some of these more abstract villains worked better? Because I just listened to what you were saying there about them trying to force Conan into the modern day Avengers, where you said just leave it in the 80s. Do you think some of these more abstract villains worked better in the sort of comics of the 70s and 80s than they would now in the live action movies of the 2020s?
Well, it's hard. I mean, technically, yes, I do think that. Just because some of them are so, like you said, abstract and so strange, and even, done right, it's hard to picture it and how to, sustain that little bit of disbelief. But also the way the MCU has been doing things, they're nailing this type of stuff. So if anybody could do it, they can.
Yes.
So,
along those same lines, I've been reading Masters of Kung Fu and reading stories about Shang-Chi just to get into that. And it absolutely blows my mind about, because reading this stuff now in 2020, compared to when it was written in the sort of 80s and earlier than that, really, I guess, in the sort of 70s, and some of the language that's used, and some of the sort of the expressions that are used,
the way they go about doing things. Yeah.
You read. I mean, you've basically got Blackjack Tar and Reston basically knocking about with Shang-Chi. You've got these two sort of British spies who are sort of, yes, jolly old chap, and then Shang-Chi, the sort of Chinaman, and the sort of, you're sort of sitting there thinking, wow, I wouldn't want that job of having to adapt those sort of storylines
exactly into nowadays stuff. Yeah.
So what would be acceptable now? Yeah, definitely.
It is. It's a whole other world in that aspect.
So a
lot of that stuff. But I should say, along those lines specifically, I love the way that they handled that type of stuff in the Luke Cage series. They, they kind of not made fun of it and made light of it, but they acknowledged it. Like, look at how ridiculous they did back in the day with these stories, and it kind of, made a commentary off of that aspect. So I thought that was handled really well and cool.
Yeah, there's some really interesting conversations that go on in the group, and I'm some of the things that we're sort of proud of with the group is the way that some of these kind of what would be more sensitive subjects can actually be spoken about in a way where people can actually just take on other people's sort of opinions and just go, oh, right, okay, that's cool. But like a lot of the conversations about, having characters who were traditionally white be black, characters who were traditionally males be females, or vice versa, or if they're straight, they're gay, or whatever it might be. But basically, changing, and I really like, I've always said, and I still stand by this, that unless a character's persona and their being requires them to be a certain age, race, religion, sexual orientation, whatever, then it doesn't really matter if they're not what they were in the comics. Like, obviously,
exactly.
Yeah, if it matters that they, like, the whole thing around Black Panther was that they are this African nation, that, you know, he can't be played by a white guy. That's just not going to work, is it?
No,
That's
exactly. That's not something you can just overlook. You know,
No, exactly.
The question is why is this white guy in the middle of Wakanda being raised by Wakandans? You know, I mean,
it's not going to work.
Sense.
Is it?
Yeah,
no, exactly. But where it can be changed, if it works, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be changed, but you're not doing it, you're not changing it just for the sake of changing it for inclusion. Yeah, yep. Exactly. Then, you know, that's like
you know, like with the Hulk. You know, I use this as an example in one of the conversations too. It's like the Hulk is supposed to be the green and big. You know, if they adapted him into the movies as a 4-foot tall blue monster, it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, that makes no sense, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So I don't know. I digressed a little bit there, but yeah, that was a good point.
No, because we've had some great conversations like that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely. Jarian, where are we at, mate?
So let's move on to What If. So we know What If is coming August 11th, I think. Yes. And so they're leaking, you know, more details are coming out now. And every time I hear more details about What If, I'm more excited for it. Some episodes have been teased as Fury's big week. So basically the week leading up to what happened within the Avengers movie.
Weekend at Fury's.
Yep. A strange, tragic love story like Can't Hardly Wait. So some kind of love interest with Doctor Strange. Maybe, you know, who knows what they'll do there. There was an interesting picture I saw, Killmonger with the Border Tribe riding rhinos. So more redemption arc. And we know that Killmonger does interact with Tony Stark as well in a What If episode from the trailer.
Is it Michael B. Jordan is
yes.
voicing Killmonger?
I believe
he is. Yes, he has returned for the voice.
And then it's also been reported that episodes will be lighter or darker than MCU movies. So that's interesting. And then the biggest one is T'Challa Star-Lord will reportedly cross paths with Howard the Duck.
Oh, I didn't hear that one, actually.
Yeah. So there's some news there. And speaking of Howard the Duck, Leah Thompson, who was in Howard the Duck, and the Howard the Duck comic team have actually pitched a reboot to Marvel Studios.
You know what's funny? She was actually one of my first crushes in that movie when I was younger. And I first saw that movie. I always had a crush on her from that movie. I don't know why.
And it doesn't sound like that's going anywhere at this time. And I don't know what other plans Marvel has for Howard the Duck outside of What If. But, you know, maybe with all the cult following of Howard the Duck and the original movie becoming popular again, that MCU changes tune and we do see a Howard the Duck movie.
Well, they don't have to do anything crazy with it. They keep it, you know, cult style movie, just one-off type, you know, even if it's just a live action, what if? You know what I mean? I think that would be brilliant. I'd love it.
Series even.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. I mean, as an old school fan, like that was one of my favorites, you know, as a kid, because that movie came out when I was just hitting that age where I was starting to really get into, you know, comics and all that. So I loved it so much.
I'm wondering as well now that with the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, it's not going to be a feature length, is it? I would assume it's probably going to be 30 minutes or something like that.
I don't know. See, that was what I originally thought. But after, you know, hearing about Gunn coming out and saying how important it is. And,
maybe an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I meant. Is it actually going to be like a Christmas special? Like, you know, like,
maybe. I thought, it could be. But I don't think it's going to be as long as a movie. I don't think it's going to be a movie length. It's not going to be 2 hours plus.
No,
I would say 90 minutes max.
Yeah, maybe. And so I'm wondering
because it still is a special, you know. What I mean? So.
With the Disney Plus platform now, the Premier Access platform, and then with characters like Howard Duck, like with Cosmo. I'm not just talking about any other animals.
Of Cosmo.
I think I just kind of went from Howard Duck to Cosmo. But with sort of smaller side of characters that probably couldn't make a big box office, you probably wouldn't want to see them every week for 6 weeks on a Disney Plus series. Could they start doing, you know, shorter 30-minute?
I think they should.
Well, make that a series though. Each episode is a different one.
Yeah, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they've got to be. You know, I guess a lot of these things, the sets are the same, the actors are the same, the supporting cast, the production teams, they're all the same.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, they can find a way around it to just, you know, kind of piggyback and reuse things they've already done, you know, and reuse characters they've already had in scenes they've already shot, or you know, just as like it's like spitballing an idea, like you were talking about, like the animals. What if they did like every episode was a different different animal version of the thing. Like you'd have Croaky, you know, and that and Throg there, and then you know you'd have another one that's Howard the Duck or whatever. And
I just think that they've got this Disney Plus platform now. They've got the Premier Access platform that they can use. They can literally turn around and go, all right, we're not going to charge you £20 to watch a 45-minute special.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's another $5.99 or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's there. They've obviously got the resources. They're talking about. Was you going to talk about opening another studio, Jarian?
Yes, I was going to mention that later on. So
so that you can come back to that if you want later.
Yep.
But they're doing that for the animated stuff.
Yep.
You know, I don't know. They went down the one-shot route, didn't they? A little while ago, back in phase 1.
Yep,
They started doing the one-shots.
Well, they did Trevor too. His little YouTube story.
They
the
did
little
Trevor
tie-ins
one.
there. Yeah, exactly.
What happened on the way to Thor's hammer? The consultant and.
The consultant was the one.
There was 4, wasn't there?
And then the Peggy Carter one.
Yes,
that's it. Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's just a fault.
Okay.
No, absolutely. I think that's brilliant. I think they should, especially where, you know, I mean, Disney Plus has the bundle thing they got Hulu now. So I can see them putting all that stuff on Hulu or something, you know, and spreading it out. And like you said, little, hey, $2 or $3 extra more. Come on, you know,
who knows?
Well, there's the package of ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's, I mean, you know, because Hulu is what MODOK was on, wasn't it?
MODOK's on there.
Yes.
Also, if you want to go watch Cloak and Dagger, that's on Hulu as well.
That's right. That's a very underrated show, by the way. So that was a good one.
Cool.
All right, and speaking of Disney Plus, Moon Knight.
Yes, my boy. Yeah.
So Moon Knight cast a villain, Gaspard Ulliel. Hope I didn't butcher his name. Indicates he'll be playing Anton Bogart / Midnight Man. So a secondary villain, or is this going to be the Midnight Man who was the kind of sidekick to Moon Knight? You know, and if you don't know about him, his costume is basically the same as Moon Knight, but it's all black.
It was just a quick rundown of him. He was a character who wanted to be Moon Knight's sidekick so bad. Moon Knight pretty much told him to beat it. So that's when it turned into a villain. So like Jarian had just said, you know, costume wise was similar. He was trying to mimic him. He was trying to copy him, you know, flatter him, you know, so it's a cool character though.
He pulled a Syndrome in The Incredibles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. That was a great movie too.
And then speaking of Moon Knight, the main character, Oscar Isaac has teased that Moon Knight is pretty exciting and crazy.
And wild. Yes. He says this is going to be wild.
That gives me hope. Yeah, that gives me hopes because I know that Moon Knight is more graphic.
Exactly. And what I love about that though is it's hinting that it's not just, you know, because everybody wants it and expecting it to be, you know, R-rated style. So it makes me hopeful that they're not just going to be doing that type of stuff on purpose. Like, oh, just watch him decapitate somebody. You know, they're actually giving it, you know, like context to things and making it impactful and actually focusing on the story and his mental illnesses and, you know, getting deep into stuff. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think Moon Knight is going to be a big indicator of how they'll do things like Blade in Deadpool and the MCU.
Exactly. It's the guinea pig, you know? So they're going to see if we can tolerate it, handle it, what we get out of it. So please, everybody, just watch it. Even if you hate the character, watch it for me. He's my favorite. So,
and then Thor: Love and Thunder news. This is more of not really news, but something to kind of keep an eye out for. Idris Elba has been seen in Australia with various members of the cast. He said in a recent interview, because he was doing an interview about the new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out, they were asked about, you know, MCU and Marvel and Heimdall. And he said in a recent interview that Heimdall seemingly perished in the MCU.
Nice wording.
Yeah. So if we do see him in Love and Thunder, is it a flashback? Or is there some kind of resurrection of Heimdall in the movie?
He wasn't keen to carry on doing it, was he?
At first, no. He actually hated the role for a while, I believe. I can't. I'm not going to, you know, go into it because I can't pull any exact quotes or anything. But I'm pretty sure he didn't really want to keep doing the role. It was some problems he was having with the studios and stuff.
Yeah, I think was it? Did I hear? I'm not sure. Again, don't quote me on this, but I think I heard it was something to do with like the makeup and not.
It was that. It was
no,
just.
the
It wasn't worth
costume.
it for the level of character he was, and
Yeah,
it was a couple
that's it,
things. But then after they started making him more fleshed out character and everything, he was started to slowly get back on board with things with it. So
Yeah,
that's
I always
what-
would.
I love
Always
it.
would have liked to see him.
Loved
As
him.
Luke.
Best Heimdall like interpretation I've ever
Yes.
seen. That was
Yeah,
perfect.
I
One of my
also
favorite
would have liked to
characters.
see him as Luke Cage. To be totally honest,
He would have made.
I
Yeah.
would
a
have
great
loved
Cage.
to have seen him as
Yes.
Luke Cage. But hey, I've met him twice, by the way.
Nice.
Okay, really?
Yeah, met him twice. He is huge.
Oh, dude,
He's
a
literally
horse.
huge.
Yeah.
I mean, his hands are just.
Well, I mean, he's
massive.
Asgardian. What
I
do you
shook, his,
Yeah.
I shook his hand. He was filming Luther right outside.
He
where
shook
where
your
he's-
hand.
yeah, no, he shook me.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
He shook me up and down. But yeah, he was filming. It was filming Luther right outside where I used to work in. London.
Nice, dude.
But yeah,
speaking
I
of,
think it'd be good to see him. Good to see him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Luke Cage, I could see him as Luke Cage going off his role in Fast and Furious. I could kind of see him a Luke Cage type.
That fits a vibe there. I could,
Yeah.
absolutely. The attitude kind of with that. Yep. I like that.
Speaking of Thor: Love and Thunder, Taika Waititi has said that this is one of the craziest things I think he's done. I think that was the quote.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It looks just by the artwork.
yes,
So just the artwork just makes it look great. I'm really looking forward to it.
yep. And so that's all the news about shows and movies. Here's some. Well, we're not done yet. We're almost there. We're the home stretch. It's been a lot of big
Andy,
news.
It's like 3 in the morning for him.
No, it's not. It's not that late. It's
Only a
it's
couple more
nearly
things.
one.
Yeah, a
It's
couple
nearly
more
one.
things. So Kevin Feige has confirmed that Catherine Hahn will return as Agatha Harkness in the MCU. So will we see her in Multiverse of Madness?
I reckon so.
Will we see her possibly? Are they going to do a second season of WandaVision?
Well, I think the interesting thing on that is, I mean, I think it's a given she'll make an appearance, some form or other in Multiverse of Madness. So I think the interesting thing is, what else could she be in? Like you said, maybe WandaVision season 2, or, maybe some other tie-in, to, whatever. But so I'm excited about that.
And then Feige has also said that, speaking of, we mentioned Val earlier and different teams, Dark Avengers, Thunderbolts, etc. Feige has also said that Val is coming. More Val is coming, and she is recruiting a mystery team in the MCU.
Yeah, kind of. We all kind of got that.
Yeah, yeah.
When they had to show us her.
Thanks, Kev.
Yeah,
For that one.
but here's an interesting thing about Val though. So in the closing credit scenes of Black Widow, Val had an iPad, right? There's been an article about this. This is known in the industry that Apple devices can't be used by villains. So, is Val good?
Well, here's the thing. She's technically not bad yet. She hasn't done anything bad yet. And in the comics, she was
Shield
with Shield.
Yep.
She was actually love interest to Fury, you know, and all that. So we might be seeing her just starting.
Yes.
And also too, it's Disney, it's Apple, it's all money, and they know who to play nice with. So
and I think that whole just the whole Thunderbolt, especially the Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers, I think was slightly different, wasn't it? But I think Thunderbolts was very much like it was like they were
that's what I'm leaning towards with it.
They were like the bad guys being good.
Yeah, so it's more. So she could
anti-villain.
Anti-hero team.
Yes.
So it could be going the anti-hero route still and not necessarily be villain, but it is interesting that she was using an iPad to show Yelena Hawkeye's picture for her next assignment. So you mentioned this earlier. So Marvel is making another studio for upcoming animated projects. We know what if's coming. What else is coming though? Right? We mentioned the different animal episodes, Howard the Duck, Cosmo, Throg, all those different things. Are we going to see those? Alligator Loki. So could we see any more things come to light?
This actually worries me a little bit because I don't want them to get roped into what's some of the huge problems over with DC and Warner Brothers and stuff, and not having that uniformity within their projects and their departments.
But we also know too that what if it's probably just the beginning? What if they are rebooting the old cartoons and redoing those for modern times?
Maybe
that could be.
I think they did say that there was 20 episodes of What If that were pitched, or 22.
Yeah,
and they're only using
but I think they'll probably develop the other stories as well.
Yeah, So
Oh,
more.
absolutely. I'm
yeah.
sure they'll do that and just save him and see how this season went, and then if it's good, which obviously it's going to be, they have those to just drop on us, and they don't have to do any work because they already did it.
But we also know too is that Marvel on the animated side hasn't been the best. That's where DC has kind of had the upper hand on the animated side. So maybe Marvel sees that as a weakness and they're trying to rectify that. So, more to come there with that one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Some Blade news. Have they finally? So it's been rumored that they finally found a director, Basim Tariq, I believe. Hopefully I said that right. Is rumored to be directing Blade. So they have a writer, they have a director, and maybe that Phase 4 film that's kind of floating out there before Fantastic
Finally
Four,
get a date. Yeah.
is going to take that last slot up and be the Blade movie.
Have we got any? I'm just going to have a look now. But is there any? Has that guy got any? Obviously, he's got previous credits. That director. Like, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name.
Yeah, not a huge fan of his. I had to look up. I had to look him up when I read that rumor. So I'm not. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of his work.
Yeah,
but he's done films like Mogwai that came out this year.
Yeah, gotcha.
These Birds Walk, Ghost of Sugarland, 11, 816. I don't recognize any of his director credit stuff that I've seen. He also has been a writer and a producer as well.
Yeah.
But some of the same movies that he's worked on, and I'm not really familiar with him. But we also know that Marvel has found these directors
diamonds in the roughs, and
diamonds in the rough are given these chances, and they've excelled at it. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, brilliant.
In the last news, so here comes Jarian's toy review. I'm just kidding.
I'm editing that in there.
New Lego minifigures are released. So Lego is releasing those packs of different figures. So you buy the packs; they're random. You can't really see what's in them. I hope they sell as a set, or I can find a set on eBay because I'm not going to go buy all kinds of packs and get duplicates and all that kind of stuff. But
that's exactly what they're going to do.
But these figures are based on Disney Plus shows, so you'll see WandaVision, Loki, the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and some What If as well.
That's
so one of the Lego,
cool.
So you're going to see Star-Lord. T'Challa as Star-Lord is going to be one of them.
Yep.
Lego has a big page of them. I'm really looking forward to it because I'm huge on the Lego Marvel stuff.
What else? Zombie Cap, right?
Yeah, Zombie Cap, Captain Carter, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange
with the cape. Yes,
with the
Spider-Man
cape.
with yeah.
Yeah. So there's gonna be you're gonna have Loki. You're gonna have Sylvie. Yep. You're gonna have Wanda. You're gonna have Vision.
Throg.
So let me go pull this up real quick. So I thought I had it pulled up, but I didn't.
I felt I saw a good Sam Wilson cap.
Yep, smoking cap. Yep, as well.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was definitely
That's such a striking costume. Sam Wilson as Cap.
Yes.
What the new one? New to the show, but I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's spot on. And I've been meaning to mention that on the show is how awesome it is that MCU's been doing these throwback, with the costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're making it fit. That it's not standing out as corny and stuff, even though it actually is. I'm loving it. Like Wanda's and Visions and the Halloween party, and then Grant's and Loki. It's awesome.
So are we going to get? Here's the big question. This is what I really want to see. Are we going to get Jeremy Renner in a Hawkeye?
The purple, the master. That would be great.
Yeah. So here's the official lineup. There's going to be 12 figures that you can collect. We're going to have Bucky.
Yeah.
So Winter Soldier. He's also going to have knives and a cap shield. We're going to have Sam Wilson's Captain America with the new wings. Scarlet Witch, Vision. We're going to have, it looks like Vision's going to have some kind of computer as well. We're going to have Spider-Man with the cape, and he's going to have his regular Peter Parker head plus the Spider-Man head. Zombie Cap, Gamora, Monica Rambeau. I'm not sure what she also has as well. Captain Carter with the Cosmic Cube. Loki and Throg, and Loki dressed up in his variant jacket.
Yeah.
Star-Lord, T'Challa, and then Sylvie with Alligator Loki.
Cool.
So,
nice.
And that's all the news I have. I know this is a big news episode, but since our
bumper news,
but since our locally finale, it's like things are coming hot and heavy, and I got to start keeping lots of notes now on the upcoming news.
Exactly.
I think as well, though, like, because, we're recording today, so it's a Tuesday today. We usually record on a Sunday. So it's only a couple of days, but it just goes to show. I mean, how many news items have you added there in the last 3 days? Probably 4 or 5.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They've been dropping like crazy. You know?
So, it's a bumper episode, a bumper news episode.
There you go.
But well done, Jarian, for keeping all tabs on all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And bringing that all to the fore. I mean, obviously, I know that you share all of this stuff as and when it comes out on the group, but there might be people that are not on the group that are listening to the podcast. There might be people that are on the group that have missed those pieces of news. So it's all just here in one place, but they get to listen to us flap on for.
There you go.
So I have some breaking news, actually.
Oh, breaking news! Wow,
Spider-Man 3, No Way Home, breaking news.
Tell me.
No Way Home is teased as biggest journey, and now there is a promotional video for the first 2 movies. So are we starting the promotional train officially now for No Way Home? Basically, it's a catch up with Spider-Man on Homecoming and No Way Home. And they're teasing, I'm sorry, Homecoming and Far From Home, and they're teasing No Way Home as Peter Parker, Spider-Man's biggest journey. So is this the first news to drop of we're going to see some indication of possibly some trailer coming now, possibly? Who knows? But that's the first drop of kind of some promotional news officially.
Yeah, at least talks are happening.
For a moment there, Jarian, I thought you was going to say they've dropped a Spider-Man 3 trailer.
I did too.
I was just going to take the headphones off and go.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. So, again, well done, mate. Good job. Great job collating all that news. So, like I mentioned earlier on in the episode today, next episode we've got a special guest coming on. We've got Monty Harry coming on, and he's going to have a chat with us. Monty's been a really prominent member from almost day one on the group.
Yeah.
I think his comic knowledge in regards to the people on our group has got to be up there in the top 5%.
Yes.
With the people that we've got, I think his way of just explaining his opinions is just really well thought out, to the point of, as we said earlier, with the Black Panther thing, all three of us went, no, this is what we want. We've read his and we all went, oh, actually, yeah, that's
Exactly.
that's pretty good. So Monty's going to come on. We're just going to chat with him. We're just going to have a chat with Monty about a few different bits and pieces, but we're going to basically talk about how the comics and the MCU overlap.
Go into more, the comic side of things, and it's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what we're going to be doing on the next episode. So hopefully that'll be with you early next week. But in between now and then, I know Jason's got a couple of bits about the group that he wanted to just remind everybody about where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, well, starting off, I'll just piggyback right off of that. Talking about Monty, he's been he pretty much took over the whole character breakdowns. He's been doing some of those. Did an amazing one on Kang. I can't get over how well he did this, and I've just share it with members who are asking. It's so helpful. So you can look for those within the group. Posts like those, they're all over. We have a lot of experts that, if you're unfamiliar with characters or stories or just anything, you speak up, ask. We're always there to help and give our recommendations and whatnot. We've had some fun stuff going on in the group. Jamie with the Marvel versus DC post that he's been doing. So he's over on, he's got us up and running over on the Twitter end of things finally. So we, touching all those corners. That's what we do. And then again, the 25,000, thank you guys. That's phenomenal.
Yes, thank you.
From our team, we can't thank everyone enough for that.
Perfect. Brilliant. So we're all done then, guys. Can I go to bed now?
Yeah, good night, Andy. You deserve it, brother.
It's lucky I got the week off this week, so it's all good. So I can just have a lie in the morning. It's not a problem. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure, as always, and we'll get back recording at the weekend and get the guys a new episode again next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Superb. Well, thank you for me. Thank you for these two. We'll see you next time.
See you next Tuesday.
Why don't you tell them about the time we faced